Coin on.
Hello YouTube coin community, I'm Dustin Morgan with CoinOp, and today we are going to do part 2 of my video segment on Roosevelt dimes. This segment is going to be on coin grading Roosevelt dimes, and basically all I'm going to do is give you roundabout grades. We're going to start with VF20. Yes, there are lower grades, and we are going to stop at MS65. Yes, there are higher grades. Coin grading is done on a scale between 1 through 70, 1 being the poorest, 70 being absolutely perfect, flawless. Anything that is listed as 60 or above, MS60 to 70, is an uncirculated example. Anything from 58 to 1 would be a circulated example. So we're going to start this with VF20, and we're going to stop at MS65. We are also going to briefly go over full split bands versus non-full split bands, and that would be on uncirculated examples. Sorry about that. So that would be on uncirculated examples. We're going to discuss full split bands. It is important because with your uncirculated examples, one that has full split bands has quite a premium over one that does not. So we're going to move right on in to coin grading Roosevelt dimes. First of all, you are looking at a very fine, a VF20, very fine 20 example of a Roosevelt dime. This Roosevelt dime also has a clipped planchet. This is currently listed on Robert Lawson's eBay. Anyhow, if you take a good look, you'll notice that only about a quarter to half of the hair details show. There's very little detail in the face. It just kind of has a bland look to the coin. On the reverse, there's very, very little detail that is on the torch and on the olive branches and the oak branch. But you can see some of the details. The details are starting to come out in a very fine example. Here you are looking at an extremely fine 40 or EF40 or XF40. Some people list it as XF, some people list it as EF, but most of them, but they all stand for extremely fine. Most of the hair details will show, where it does show on the high points, basically the cheeks, the ear, the nose, chin. On the reverse, there is a little bit of detail in the torch. If you look on the olive and oak branches, you will see a lot more detail than you would on a very fine example, but you can still clearly see that there is wear on the high points. We are now looking at an AU example, an AU50, almost uncirculated 50. All the hair details show. There's only a trace of wear on the high points, which would be, once again, up his cheeks. On the reverse, wear only shows on the high points. So basically the tops of the leaves on the oak and olive branch, a little bit on the torch. Okay, this is an MS60. This is an uncirculated coin. It does have bag marks and scratches. All of the examples that you're going to see, the MS60, the MS63, and the MS65 are all graded examples from PCGS. So it's not me just making up grades. In my opinion, this MS60 should probably fetch slightly higher grade, but still it's a good one for you to take a look at and see an uncirculated example. Okay, this one is a MS63 or an uncirculated 63 example. Some bag marks may be present on an MS63. In your main focal points, you don't want to have more than about 3 little bag marks or spots. Same with the reverse. If there's lots of marks on the prime focal fields, then it will drop it below an MS63. If there's not a whole lot of bag marks in the prime focal fields, then typically it'll fetch at least an MS63 grade. Okay, we are looking at an MS65 example. Once you hit MS65 and above, you truly need to be a professional to really know what you're looking at. On an MS65 example, you are not going to see any distracting contact marks in any of the prime focal fields. There still may be a couple little marks here and there, but typically you are not going to have any of them in any of your prime focal fields, which would be Roosevelt's face, right in front of his face, the reverse, any of your main focal points. If there's marks on it, it's not going to fetch an MS65. If the coin has spotting, it will not fetch an MS65. We are going to move on from this one to full split bands or non-full split bands. When you get into the high MS grades, full split bands comes into play. Now here we are looking at examples of full split bands. What that means is on the reverse, on the torch, there's a band up high and there's a band down low. If they are split and you can clearly see the line that separates the bands, that's considered a full split band. A lot of times with the minting, these don't even mint outright. So the full split bands are a lot more scarce than one without full split bands. The ones without full split bands are pretty common. So when you're reaching grades like MS67, MS68, and you have an example that has full split bands versus an example that does not, you are going to fetch a lot higher premium for an example with full split bands. So the full split bands is important with the Roosevelt dime series. I do suggest that if you have uncirculated examples, to go take a look for the ones with full split bands, and make sure if they're in a 2x2 flip that you mark that they have full split bands, because it does come into play with figuring out value. Now we are looking at examples that do not have full split bands. This is what you're going to commonly come across with your uncirculated examples. A lot of them will not have full split bands, especially with your older ones. Now your ones that are minted more modern most likely will, but your older silver examples, it's going to be a lot harder to find them with the full split bands. Most of them are going to look like this, where the bands look a little mushy or something along those lines. So just keep your eyes out for the full split bands versus the non-split bands. Alright everyone, well I hope you enjoyed this little video segment here. Coming up in a few days I will post the part 3 to this little series, and it will be on some of the varieties that are in the Roosevelt dime series. Now there's not a whole lot of major varieties that are super popular, other than say in 1982 No P, got a few others, but there are a whole lot of varieties, repunched mint marks, and double dies for the Roosevelt dime series. So I'm going to try to find some of the more popular and more valuable ones, and I will do a video segment for you here in just a couple days with those. So make sure you keep your eyes open and stay tuned, subscribe for a whole lot more. We have a lot of videos that we are working on, just a whole lot of material that we are working on. So definitely subscribe, definitely stay tuned. Hit the like button. I love seeing it when you guys hit that like button a whole bunch. So hit the like button for me. Stay tuned. See you guys in the next one.